Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Last week, Sean, we had talked about James Franklin at Penn State and Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Now, one of the questions we had asked was if both of these teams lose, where are the teams going to be at? They did both lose. I can tell you for a fact that a lot of friends up here that are Penn State fans are none too happy with James Franklin at this point. But the one I want to talk about more is coming out of last week is Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, because like Penn State, yeah, they went down, they started mounting a comeback, wasn't able to finish it off. But the Michigan Wolverines, it's not only that they're losing, and it's not even necessarily how they're losing, but they're historically, they are losing in ways that have never happened before. The worst point deficit in the history of the Big House, and things like that. One of the worst losses to Michigan State in a number of years. So, I don't know. I think he gets to the end of the year, guys. I think because right now with everything going on, I don't know necessarily what firing a coach in midseason does. I also think because he's a Michigan man, I kind of compared it. And you guys totally understand this, being Notre Dame fans, the final year of Charlie Weiss at Notre Dame. The writing was on the wall. I think that was the year they went 3-9. I think we all knew, like, this is it. But they gave him the benefit of the doubt to finish out the regular season. And I feel like that may be where we're getting with Harbaugh. I don't know what the answer is. This felt that back at the time he got hired, it kind of felt like this is kind of, the savior riding in on the white horse, and 6 years later, it just seems to be getting worse. And Matt, we'll tip it to you first. Like, what does Michigan do? I don't know where they can go from here. It's been a long time since Michigan's felt like Michigan.
I mean, on a list of things that Matt loves to see, Michigan losing big is close to the top. So I'm not going to complain about any of this, and they can keep Harbaugh around as long as they would like to. But at the end of the day, I feel like it has to come down to coaching. Like, when you see the amount of NFL talent Michigan's produced the last few seasons, it's not for lack of talent that Michigan's not getting it done. Granted, the quarterback position was kind of up and down, but still, I mean, to have the level of talent that they've had, you have to expect some sort of success, and they just haven't gotten it done for whatever reason. So I don't think they fire mid-season. I mean, Big Ten plays, 7 games this year? So, 8. I mean, to cut him loose at this point, I think would just kind of be unnecessary, unless they are planning to promote from within and they want to see what someone they have on their current staff can do in a shortened season, and see if they can build some momentum. But I think with a school like Michigan, they have to kind of make a splash higher, especially coming off of one that they've already had. So I don't think they promote internally. So I think Harbaugh rides it out, and then they just kind of see what they can do, maybe poach someone from an NFL level, or see if they can just hire a sexy name from a smaller school if they can. But I don't know that Michigan kind of has the legs right now. They're not the prestigious program that we've come to think of them as the last few seasons, despite the fact that they just drubbed Notre Dame not too long ago.
Yeah, I mean, that was last year, right? Was that the last? Mm-hmm. That was the last time Notre Dame lost in the regular season. So it's I've seen these stats of the difference record wise between the two programs, and it's astounding to see where the two have gone. Sean, your thoughts? I mean, I know we touched on this a little bit last week, but I personally did not see what happened at the Big House last Saturday. I did not see that one coming like that. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
Yeah, no, I think one thing I had pointed out is that of the two, Harbaugh was definitely the hotter seat for me, and I would be curious to know from the Franklin faithful. We had a lot chirping at us about Franklin deserves the benefit of the doubt, and this I'd like to know when that flips. As far as how many losses in a season where you were ranked as high as you were, are you still saying, well, he deserves the benefit of the doubt, and it's not his fault, and 3 players didn't show up, and like whatever. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. As far as Michigan goes, I would agree. As far as going to the end of the season, I think if you have any hopes of maybe surprising an Ohio State, I think keeping the regime the way it is your best shot at that. I don't think it's a very realistic shot from what I've seen on the field. I think it's a Michigan team, and it's not just the teams are losing to, like you said. I mean, this is a team that, with the exception of that game, their one win, they've looked flat. I mean, it hasn't looked. It's not like they're losing in shootouts or even the opposite, winning like an old Auburn defensive 6-3 game. Like that would be more exciting.
Sure.
This is a team that when the time's being called upon them to go out and at least hang up something respectable on the board. They can't seem to do it, and it's still a big offensive line, and you do still have some talent there. And I would agree. I think the only way you really change the guard in mid-season is if you kind of want to do a partial job interview there, like Matt was alluding to. Maybe you have a coordinator or something. But I don't. I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure that hanging one on Ohio State is necessarily going to save him. At this point, unless you have more wins, you would have to. I don't know. I don't really know what scenario. You could finish and go to a bowl and have beaten Ohio State. Maybe have like a lucky hard draw in a bowl game and win that one too. But I don't know unless he finds some like freshman or sophomore player that he recruited and decides to hand the offense over to that player or get a new running back in or somebody to light a spark and decides like, hey, if he can convince them that that's my guy and somehow it turns into like several straight wins, maybe he can hang it on that. But I don't see a lot of scenarios where he's still around. And, I think if nobody really big name is there available, I think they do still promote from within just to kind of wait around for that name to arrive.
Yeah, I mean the next 3 before Ohio State is Rutgers, Penn State, and Maryland. Theoretically, those are all winnable games. I know we saw
like you said, winnable. Like I think in a regular season, you would say those are wins.
Right, those are
like
wins.
You would
now
check them off.
Right,
now it's like they're winnable.
I mean, Rutgers beat the Michigan State team that beat them. Maryland drubbed Penn State. Like it's
right.
And this year in general, I feel like we're all not just in college football, but the NFL having a hard time figuring out who teams are week to week. Now, certain ones, Alabama so far, Notre Dame, knock on wood. Clemson. There's teams near the top that I think are fairly consistent, but when you look over the rest of the top 25, once you get out of the top 5, maybe 6 teams, I think everything's kind of a crapshoot week to week. But those are games that you should win, and theoretically, if you can come in at what would that be, 4-2, going in or 4-3 going into the Ohio State game. I mean, if Michigan's bowl eligible, which I guess would be 500, I mean they're going to go to a bowl game. They're still a valuable brand. Well, like looking at some of the stats from this past weekend, I mean, Joe Milton, 9 of 19 for 98 yards, 2 picks. Cade McNamara, they brought in, went 4 for 7, 74 and a touchdown. To me, that's your starting quarterback this coming weekend against Rutgers. The offense did look better. The problem is you were down 28 nothing by the time your offense even really started to put anything that resembled any decent play out there. But It's something we've kind of watched all year. We'll continue to kind of watch it as the next couple of weeks play out. But like personally, I would be very surprised to see Jim Harbaugh back at Michigan next year. I'll give it like 15% chance sitting here right now. Sean, how about you?
You asked me to name a
Percentage.
11. Slightly better than 10.
I feel like I need to find that sound drop with the Bears fans screaming 11.
11.
Just in case the number 11 ever comes up. And Matt, what's your percentage odds that Jim Harbaugh is back in Michigan next year?
Do you have the 0.0 soundbite?
This guy.
0.0.
Yeah,
No chance. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?